I'm Kristin Sedore. My husband Darren and our two children Nathan and Julia have been going to the Tapestry since about 6 months after it's opened in Mundy Park. I'm a visual effects artist, which the easiest way to explain what that is that we create the fake stuff for movies. There's lots of different departments that work together to do the visual effects. I work in the lighting department, which is near the end of the pipeline. In lighting, we add lights in the 3D world, and we're trying to replicate what was on set. So we will look at the plate, the footage that was on set. We'll also get reference material that we'll look at, and we'll look for all kinds of clues to try to see how the lighting was set up on set, and we try to replicate that in 3D so that when it's all blended together, the whole goal is that you can't tell the difference between what we've done and what was shot and set, that really looks like one shoot. I really love the challenge of blending the CG with the live action plate. Lighting has a lot of technical aspects to it, but also a lot of artistic aspects, and I really like the joining of both of them. I would consider myself more of an artistic person than technical, but really when you think about how much time we spend problem solving and doing the technical work, it's probably like 95% of my job. But when I get to those times where I can really just play around and like adjust the color, adjust the intensity, move the lights around, really try to see how to make it look the best, I love that. The biggest challenge by far in my career has been the hours. Our regular hours are 9 to 6. That's across the industry. As a mother and a wife, it's not the best being away from home until 7 o'clock at night. You know, no kids want to wait till after 7 to eat dinner, and all of their activities happen well before that. So that has been a huge challenge. Many people in the industry have asked me like how I've made it so long. And my answer is always without a doubt, because I have a supportive husband. I know it would have been impossible without that. Many times I'm sure he's felt like a single dad. And that's in the best times are the 9 to 6, right? When we have these periods of crunch time, we call it. So during a usual crunch time, we might work 60 hours a week. That would be pretty normal. If it's maybe a show that's maybe not run so well, or maybe there's been lots of changes or something like that, then we might work 70 to 80 hours in crunch time. And there was one film that I worked on where I hit 100 hours a week for a couple weeks in a row. It really hits you like how ridiculous that is. And so all of that time takes away from your family and your friends and your personal life. It has an effect on your mental health, your physical health. I remember one time when the kids were quite little, I was trying to make it home to say goodnight to the kids before they went to sleep, and so Darren was keeping them up so that I could make it home, and it was one of those nights where it dragged out a little bit, and Julia stayed up, and I was saying goodnight to her, and she seemed kind of sad. So what was wrong? I just don't like it when you work so much. And my heart just like shattered into like a million pieces, right? Like, that was one of those moments of, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. And so that was one of those times, and we did come up with a solution, and it was sort of a proposal for my work, and I went there with like a proposal of different hours, right? And they were open to that, and it worked for a while, and it was helpful. So I feel like over time I've realized what my boundaries are, and I've had to say like, this is what I'm willing to give, this is what I'm willing to do, which is hard when you're new in the industry. I think with more experience, I'm able to do that a little bit easier. And I think just as I get older and my priorities change, or maybe I'm just more confident to say no, that's really helped. So to me, it's not really about the project so much. It's not about the movie or the content. We have no control over that anyway. It's really about the people that we work with. In our work environment, we're all sitting next to each other in an open space. And so we hear each other's frustrations and celebrations, and we get really close. For a while there, I was hearing a lot of frustrations from them. When I would reflect on them, I could see that they were just feeling unappreciated. It was a shame to me because I felt like they were easy things to overcome, right? Like it could just be a simple email just saying, hey, thanks for that extra effort you put into that show or that shot, or hey, I know you came up with this great tool that saved us a lot of time. Like, hey, we really appreciate that. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but they just, people need that. They need to feel like their efforts are being appreciated. I went to our leadership team with a few suggestions to try to alleviate this, because what I was seeing is a lot of good people were leaving the studio. And so it was frustrating to me to see these people leaving when a simple email might have saved it, or just, not treating them like a number, but treating them like a human being. I came up with a few suggestions of, like ways to celebrate milestones for people, right? Like when they had babies or got married, things like that. We also had introduced a system where we could send them an email, but it was also copied to their manager. And so that way, when it came to review time, they would know that people had recognized them for their efforts. And so that those things weren't slipping through the cracks, but there was a way to do that. And it was hugely successful, right? And all it is an email. Like, it's nothing crazy, but it's just a message to say, hey, I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're on the team. It wasn't until we did this interview that I really realized this, but I feel like that was sort of my role to do that for those people, because a lot of them didn't feel comfortable speaking up for themselves, especially when people do move around a lot. Some of them were new to the studio and didn't know who to talk to or didn't want to complain. And I'd been there long enough, and God making me the way I am, I felt comfortable enough to go and advocate for those people, and really with the end goal of creating a positive environment for everybody to work in. I feel very blessed to have a job that I enjoy, and I can contribute and I can help advocate for my coworkers who maybe don't feel so confident to speak up for themselves, and happy to create an environment where we can all enjoy working. I've always said you spend too many hours at your job to not enjoy what you do. So I feel very blessed.